Hello and welcome back to Homeschool Together. Thank you for joining us. If you have a chance, head down below. I believe there may be some things on our Gumroad page to take a look at. If you haven't, also subscribe to the YouTube channel. It would be very helpful for us. Now, we have a little correction. A couple videos ago, we covered the big red planet, the little red planet, that's our friend. And we left off one of the most important board games in our household. We would be remiss to not talk about it. This is such, we have so many expansions in here right now. It is a heavy game. Terraforming Mars. It's one of our favorite games.
We played a lot.
We played a lot. We actually, we took the brave plunge and welcomed our newly minted 10-year-old into the Terraforming Mars experience. And she kind of navigated her way through, and we now have a third, Ariel. We now have a third who we can play with.
We wanted to just show very briefly. It's one of our favorite games,
There's a lot of money invested here.
we have 3D printed pieces and stuff for the game. We don't have to show all of those, but basically you'll get a map of Mars, as you can see there, and you end up colonizing by putting different pieces on the board, cities and greenery and oceans.
Yeah, your goal is to raise the temperature and raise the amount of oxygen in the game, and that's kind of the end points of the game.
And put out all of your ocean tiles. And so there's lots of win strategies and things. So if you are a nerdy board game family like we are, this should definitely be in your collection.
But there's one wrinkle that we bought one of the expansions. This is the Corporations expansion. Is this the one?
If you have this game already, or you're thinking about getting it and you want one, there's like 6 expansions. The only one that I would get right now is Prelude. It's very cheap and it really changes the game and makes it much easier. It's an engine building, so you got to get your engine going. But there's a million cards to build special projects. You're a corporation. It's terraforming Mars. So if you like a bit more complex board games, your kids like those. If you've got a 10 and up kind of thing.
The first time you play it, it's gonna, or you set it up, you're like, holy crap.
This is an over an hour long board game. It's not like a 3-hour board game.
It's closer to 2, maybe 2 hours if you're playing.
I think
about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, I think you can get it down to hour and a half. So it's a little bit long.
It's a little scary at first, but once you get going, you get through the first like 3 or 4 rounds, you really understand how the game is played. And once you get through one full playthrough of the game, you're going to go, I want to play this again, because I see how it works.
There's so many possibilities.
It's so much creativity in it.
If you don't already have the game, there is a version of this called the Ares Expedition, I think is what it's called. And it's a little bit of a slimmed down version of this game. So if you don't have either game yet, and you're thinking like, ooh, I'm intrigued, this might be something that I might want to do for my family, I would buy that one. It's not quite as expensive. It's a little bit more streamlined. It'll be easier to uptake. But if you love nerdy type board games and you're fine with playing for an hour and a half, then just buy the full version and, welcome to the addiction. We have a lot of games.
It doesn't even close. We have so much stuff in here.
Yeah, it doesn't even close. We have so many games, and this is the one that we consistently play with our adult friends and each other. So we couldn't believe that we'd got through Mars and we didn't talk about like one of our top 5 games.
It's for us. It's in the pantheon. It's more of a nerdy. It's not an easy game to play at start, but it's a really good game if you are kind of a gamer friendly.
Yeah, or you've been thinking about it and you like a little bit more complex games. Definitely. Anyway, we thought we should talk about it.
So this week we focused on Uranus and Neptune, the last 2 planets, before next week we get into the cry fest about why Pluto's not a planet. We hit the last 2 planets in the solar system, and we also talked about telescopes and starting to look out into the night sky. So we're going to show 3 quick books. We have been covering a couple of these series of books along the way, and the further you get out to Uranus and Neptune, the fewer books and options you have.
So any of these books,
books are left. They need more books.
These are just random, whatever you can find at your library that says Uranus or Neptune is fine. They're all kind of the same. None of them is awesome. None of them is bad. They're just kind of middling. But if you don't want to go track down these kind of books and kind of go, the book that I would really just do...
And this is really a spine that we're pushing on this one.
I would just kind of skip them and then just go with the Mysteries of the Universe book, because it's already tagged. Marked. It's got great spreads on each planet, and not only does it have that, but it also has some of the more famous moons. So I think this is like kind of all you need. It talks about both
the Triton,
both planets.
Neptune, and then here's Uranus.
Yeah, so I would just do this. Unless you've got a great book at your library you really want to get. I didn't think that the books that were individually about them were all that special.
Those were nice. So the wrinkle that I've been doing with our oldest with these books over here is giving her one little topic about the planet and asking her to write a paragraph. So treating it like a writing exercise.
So yeah.
That's been one of the little wrinkles that I've been doing a little bit more now that I feel like she has a little bit more confidence in her writing. And this is just something to pull in a little bit more of our ELA from our ELA curriculum. I'm getting her to write more. It's just me using it as kind of like mini little book report, paragraph writing composition work. That's the only thing I've been using those books heavily for.
So if you want to do like give your child a short research assignment, those books are great. But there was no, we've covered lots of books that were kind of like anthropomorphized planets or cooler stories about people traveling to planets or whatever. They don't really have any of those for Uranus and Neptune. The pickings are slim. So
Pickings are slim.
If you want to just go easy, just get this book and do this.
Absolutely. Then we get into our telescope work. And why not cover one of the all-time great telescopes, Hubble telescope.
So we have two kind of similar books.
This is the one we went through here.
Hubble Legacy, and I went through this one, Hubble's Universe. These are kind of coffee table style books. They have beautiful pictures in them. And the whole goal was just to show the pictures and discuss. And not really to read these books because they're not for kids, but this had some of the best imagery that we could find. So grab yourself whatever favorite book you have about Hubble and talk through that. And then this book I would recommend though.
This one, yes, the National Geographic's Kids Beyond Infinity, and this is talking about the James Webb Telescope.
So this one's great because it's Nat Geo Kids. It's fabulous as all their things are.
And there's a lot of great content on YouTube talking about James Webb. It was a very historic placement of a satellite.
There were some really cool videos that we found.
Long history in the build of James Webb, a lot of the delays, the whole intricacies of how it was deployed. Really cool videos to watch. Absolutely recommend if you want to do a little bit of a deep dive. James Webb is a great telescope to kind of lean into. Hubble was kind of the telescope of our generation.
It was, yeah.
It was really what showed us. Kind of like our parents, their moment with seeing celestial objects was maybe a lot of the Voyager images that came back in the 80s. We were too young for that.
Well, I mean, our parents, it was the walking on the moon, right? They were kids when the moon landing happened.
Yeah, they were little kids moon landing, but really the kind of seeing those really beautiful celestial objects, taking photos would be kind of the Voyager experience when they were like in their 20s. For us, Hubble was a huge influence in the 90s and early aughts. And now we have James Webb for our children, kind of seeing beyond just the view of the skies, and so it's
this is
really
a good
cool.
one,
Absolutely.
Beyond Infinity, and we have
down
little
here.
project.
Yes, if you love, I've done now one of these. This is my second one. This is the Curious Discovery, the planetary orbits. This is a great kind of laser cut wood. It's not. I don't know if it's wood, but like it's compressed. Cardboardy type of wood.
It's a wood.
It's very firm. It doesn't feel like wood, but it's like almost like balsa wood type of thing. It's super lightweight but strong. And it's a really cool project. It's almost like Legos mixed with like kind of like a model build. There's very few hardware pieces, like metal pieces, so it's all like press fit. They have wood pieces that are kind of like joiners. It's a really cool project, and in the end, it's kind of like a crank. And it will actually cause all the planets to kind of move around. I've been slow building this whenever I've had...
We're bringing up the box because we haven't finished the build yet.
Yeah, whenever I've had an hour here, an hour there, I'll lay out all the plates and I'll put together a few pieces, maybe do a couple pages, and then I'll kind of put it away.
And I would say that this would be... How young do you think a child could work on this? I think it says for ages 14 plus.
Our 6-year-old has been doing Legos for the last 3 years, so she's kind of an advanced Lego builder. I still don't think she'd be ready for this. And I know our 10-year-old could do this, but I find...
With assistance.
With assistance, because I find sometimes so a lot of the pieces may have these little tongues where you're kind of meant to press them into like kind of an opening. And sometimes it could be a little tricky and it's a little intricate and you feel like you're going to break it, but you never do. So maybe just with like a 10-year-old with a little bit of assistance would be good for them. But I love this. This is the Roker brand. My dad has been buying these for me and the kids.
Every Christmas.
I have a train downstairs. I think there's a violin as well that we have yet to do. At our kids' school, one of the classrooms actually has at our parent partnership has the film one.
Oh, that's cool.
It's an old hand cranked film camera from like the early 1900s. So really cool. These are great. And when they're finished, they're actually very beautiful. It's like you want to display them on the shelf. So we have downstairs kind of a celestial objects kind of one that's downstairs.
It's a much smaller one.
Yeah, and you crank it and it plays music and all the planets. It's not planets, but it's like kind of these orbs that kind of move around. It plays like a nice little song and everything. So it's really cool. I really enjoy this one. I'm going to continue slow building this one. Hopefully I'll have it done when I have a little bit more time.
They even have a whole, I don't know if you can see this, but they have a whole like modular telescope one you could do too if you don't want to do the whole planets.
Absolutely.
But some sort of solar system model, it would be cool if you wanted to start it when you started the planets of the solar system and kind of build over the weeks and then finish up this week if you're planning ahead. That would be a really cool thing to do. We didn't successfully do that, but that would be neat.
I would say probably in the end, maybe 10, 12 hours of build time. If you're just kind of meandering along, you really get into it. Like you spend an hour and you do like 4 or 5 pages. But it's a lot. There's a lot of pieces there.
But there's a lot of different solar system models. So find one or make one, and you could be kind of working on it over the weeks. So that could be fun.
Absolutely. We also watched a bunch of videos on Uranus and Neptune from Nat Geo. Really beautiful images. A lot of Voyager studies. I believe Neptune just got a probe like a few years ago. So we watched a few videos on that. I believe that was the case. So watch some videos, some shorter videos on it, and kind of learn. Uranus is kind of tilted. Neptune is super cold. So getting those basic facts of the planets and understanding that. But we also watched a couple movies this week. We watched Dune and Dune 2. Obviously not specific to Uranus and Neptune.
We did some strategic skipping of a couple of parts that were a bit advanced for our young kids. So your mileage may vary with your family. You know your kiddos best because there's some violence and things there.
We're a big sci-fi family. We enjoy it. Our youngest was like, "Daddy, what's going on?" But our oldest was really intrigued. She's starting to understand these complex storylines. We had to pause a little bit, and I can explain her the story. Herbert's book has been a staple in my library for like almost 15, 20 years
If you haven't read it, it's a great read. The first book is really well done.
It's a breathtaking book. It's one of those books that I think stands above its time period. I've read a lot of books from the 60s and 70s that are sci-fi and they feel like it. Herbert's book really feels like it was way ahead, and there's a reason why it's so cherished as a sci-fi book. And it's because of the nature of the writing, how beautiful the writing was, how intricate the story was, and the way it was written kind of transcended the genre. And so that's why I think it's lasted as well as it is. And Villeneuve's movies are just breathtaking takes on the movie. So on the book,
really good.
And I love them. They're some of my favorite book movies. Yeah.
So the other thing we did as we're studying telescopes this week is we pulled out our telescope.
Yeah.
We have a telescope downstairs. We had a miraculously clear night here in the Pacific Northwest in the fall.
So the sun's going down earlier now, and we were able to get out around 9 o'clock.
It's a little chilly, but it wasn't so late like it is in summertime.
We have a Newtonian Meade telescope that is geared and motored. We didn't do the geared and motored option. We just kind of looked at the moon, and the girls were able to peer through that.
It was about all we could see. It was a little bit cloudy.
And we also have an adapter for our cell phone that can adapt over the eyepiece. So you don't have to sit there and squint and look through the little eyepiece. You can put your camera lens right over the eyepiece and actually then turn on the camera mode and actually be able to look through your cell phone. It gives you a nice little kind of camera option to look through a bigger screen. Everybody
we'll put one
can
of those in the show notes. You can see, so you can order one.
But I think it's kind of like great, because it can be difficult to look through the eyepiece, and it can be a little frustrating, especially with little hands and little fingers kind of bumping it and everything. If you're trying to find something like Jupiter or Saturn as it's flying through the scene, or if you have a telescope that's tracking with it, you can have somebody bump it. It could get out of focus or get off kilter, and you lose sight of the object. We were looking through the moon. We were looking at the moon. They were able to see a bunch of UFOs take off from the dark side. And it was really cool.
The kids really loved it.
Kids really loved it, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And if you don't already own a telescope, they have lots that have this tracking feature, which is great because then you can get something zoomed in and then the telescope will slowly track as it moves and you won't have to continually, readjust to find it again.
And you also downloaded a Starfinder app at the same time while we were outside. So a lot of these Starfinder apps, there's a couple that are free.
I think I did Night Sky maybe.
Yeah, and what happens is they know your orientation of your phone, they know your location, and so when you point it up at the sky across your screen, will show you the names of those stars, any type of celestial objects that are really important that are up there, like planets or any type of like nebula or other galaxies that you might be able to view through a telescope will be shown on the screen as you move it across.
And like the constellation outlines and stuff. So yeah,
Super
actually,
cool.
our girls had a wonderful time with it. So definitely, if you haven't gotten your telescope out yet, this is a great week, whatever week that you start studying space telescopes.
It's a great chance to turn your backyard into kind of a planetarium.
Yeah. So we had a really great time. We got 1 week left to go, and then we're going to be wrapping up.
We're going to the 9th planet, Pluto. We're going to stand firm, Ariel. 9th planet, Pluto. It's our
Child of the 90s.
Child of the 90s. It's stolen from us. And then we're going to study some deep celestial objects, black holes, and we're going to kind of wrap it up. So we're here at the end. See you guys next week.